Let's review reference dates and relative due dates in Genie's task templates. Certain tasks are not due on a specific date, but rather due relative to something. The easiest way to understand this is to walk through an example, so let's take a look. Let's assume a firm has contracts with clients to complete their monthly close by a certain date of the month, like the 15th, 20th, or 25th. The firm has policies related to due dates for each close task. For example, bank recs are due 10 days prior to the close deadline. Balance sheet recs are due 5 days prior to the close deadline. At the group level, the firm would assign a reference date as the client closing deadline. This would vary by client. At the task level, due dates would be assigned as a relative due date relative to that reference date. Bank rec has a due date of -10, meaning it would be due 10 days prior to the close deadline. Balance sheet recs have a due date of -5, meaning they would be due 5 days prior to the close deadline. Financial review call has a due date of 10, meaning it would be due 10 days after the close deadline. Recurrence options can be applied at the group level. Template groups that require a reference date are indicated by this orange calendar. Hovering over the icon shows the reference date and reference date notes. When applying the task group, input the appropriate reference date. Genie auto-calculates the relative due dates. So here, if the client's closing deadline is the 15th, Genie calculates the bank recs as due on the 5th, 10 days prior. If the client's closing date is instead the 25th, Genie calculates the bank recs as due on the 15th, again, 10 days prior to the close deadline. Relative due dates are valuable for any tasks or processes that have a consistent timeline based on an input date. Things like new client onboarding, payroll process based on pay date, or even new employee onboarding.